You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
The 4x4 Podcast, episode 125.
You're listening to the 4x4 Podcast, the podcast all about four-wheeling, overlanding, off-road racing, and the outdoor lifestyle. We talk about news, tips and tricks, answer your questions, and interview big and little names in the off-roading world. So whether your rig is busted and you're in the shop wrenching on it or on your way to the trail, join us and we'll keep you plugged in on topics to help you get away. Here's your host, Dan.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming back to listen to another episode of the 4x4 Podcast. This is going to be very different than some of the normal ones that you're used to. This is just me, Dan, your host of the 4x4 Podcast, and I am actually recording solo tonight. Totally disconnected from any kind of network right now. And that's because I am in northeastern Australia. So that's kind of one of the reasons that there's been no episodes produced lately. But I've got a couple interviews for a couple upcoming shows, and I wanted to get those out there. So this very first interview here for episode 125 in this little series, this is with Bolt Locks. And Bolt Locks they're made to accept your key from your vehicle, and it'll help program itself to match all the other locks on your vehicle with just a single turn of that key. So that means you'll be able to secure all your extra stuff, your spare tire, your gas cans, trailer hitch, even the trailer if you disconnect your vehicle with the very same key that you use to open the doors and start your vehicle. And it's a really, really cool product. So I just wanted to get this interview shared with you. So we're going to kind of skip the In the Garage segment until I can catch up with Rich and Craig and maybe talk to some Australian listeners if I can figure out how to link up with these guys or do a phone interview. Anyways, before I came down to here, Australia, I've really had a good time doing a bunch of camping there in Alaska and fishing and just exploring and putting a lot of miles on the overland style trailer that I had built for the trip up to Alaska. I actually put about 2,300 miles on the trailer, exploring all over the place and going camping with another family. So let's see. Great time. Looking forward to some of your feedback on this episode. And stay tuned till after the interview, and I'm going to tell you all about a giveaway where you can receive a Bolt product or products of your choice from a couple options. Anyways, stay tuned till after the interview. So let's jump to that interview with Bolt Locks. Well, tonight on the podcast, I'm very excited to have Steve Gillis from Bolt Locks. How are you doing tonight, Steve?
Really good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, I'm really excited to talk about Bolt Locks because this is something that I see is very important to off-roaders and for a lot of great reasons. So I guess we can start off starting at the front of a vehicle and going all the way to the back of a trailer on why bolt locks are important. So I guess to start off, do you want to explain what bolt locks do, why they're different than other locks that are out there?
Absolutely, Dan. Basically, all of the listeners out there, every time we say a padlock, everybody's thinking about that extra key that they're going to have to carry and or forget. We have taken that problem and I think designed a great solution around the ignition key to the vehicle. So BOLT stands for Breakthrough One Key Lock Technology. And what we do is we have a patented automotive-grade lock cylinder that will mechanically set itself to your ignition key the first time you insert and rotate it. So you can have multiple locks around your vehicle all set to your ignition. You never have to worry about misplacing a key, losing a key, or really just not having the right key for the right lock.
Wow, that's so cool. I know when I've got, just with my Jeep, it's got the same key for the door and the ignition, but I've got a lock on the spare tire. I've got locks on fuel cans when I've got those on there. So this is something that really, really would play well to that.
Correct, and we offer it in a variety of key sets. We are GM, Ford, and Chrysler's automotive locking manufacturer. So that's really where this invention came from. Is it's based in our lock technology that we do for the OEs. So we're very familiar with all the keyways. We do cover the GMs, the Fords, and the Chryslers basically from the mid '90s on up. Ever since they really have done the single, the double-sided key where you have one key that fits both. We've got all kinds of different models out there. We also cover the Toyotas and the Nissans. We have a whole family of locks that you can use. So we have padlocks. It's a 2-inch hasp on that. One of our most popular ones is really the receiver hitch pin, and that lock is, a lot of people want to put that on to keep your receiver on, with the vehicle, and actually it's very good to have some kind of security there when you're either with the trailer hooked to it, like when you're at a boat ramp or something. At least somebody can't just pull that pin and yank the receiver out and put that trailer onto a new vehicle. So that's one of our most popular products because people want to put it on and then kind of run it for the whole trailering season and then get to the end of it and take it off. And a lot of times they don't want to carry that key and, my key was in the cup holder, and oh my God, now I don't have the key thing, so I'm stuck. So that's it's a really good product. We also, for the Jeeps, we have a lot of targeted stuff too. We have cable locks for all the different models. Work great on spare tires, pick up spare tires up underneath. There's a number of places around here that definitely we have some theft problems with those types of wheels. You see them all the time going down the road. You kind of look under there and you just see the cable just sitting there. And somebody probably doesn't even realize that they've lost their spare.
That would be a really sad day. You go to actually need a spare tire and come to find out it's been gone.
Yep. So our locks all have like 3 different seals on them. We have a neoprene cover on the outside of them, which everything's stainless steel, all stainless steel pins and shackles, and so it's very corrosion resistant. We are an automotive company, so that's we use automotive grade shutter. Most locks that we have will have like an open keyway. If you see a lot of these types of products, we actually have that shutter that you're familiar with on your vehicle door lock. We have that same technology on the bolt locks and on most of the cable locks and the receivers. We have a big plastic mud flap over the top too. So they can be left on there for a number of hours. We tested them against some of the other locks in the industry where they don't go. They usually probably have a hard time making it around 250 hours in salt spray. Ours can go 1,200 hours plus. So very durable locks. We also offer a limited lifetime warranty with them. If something were to go wrong with any of the manufacturing or anything, give us a call and contact us off boltlock.com and we'll address it for you. So the Jeeps, they, like you said, you got exposed things, your gas cans, water cans, all kinds of different stuff that's, can be put on them. One of our featured products, we won the SEMA Best Off-Road Product 2 years ago, is called the J-Mount, and it's a vertical A-pillar mount for a high-lift jack. So it comes in it actually mounts to the A-pillar using two existing screw holes there, so it's a no-drill application. So the installation is very simple, and it'll vertically mount your high-lift jack right on that A-pillar. So gives you pretty good access. You don't have to reach across the hood with it. There's a lot of mounts there. Tossing it in the back of the Jeep, that's, having it rattle around, that's not too big that's not a preferred method.
Yeah.
So, yep. So we've got them for both the passenger side and the driver's side. So it's a couple different models.
Yeah, I've got a buddy at work who actually has that J-mount for his JK for the high lift. He was asking me, How am I supposed to keep this thing secure? And I recommended this J-mount to him. And he absolutely loves it.
Great.
I don't know how often he's used the high lift jack. He's still got one of those fancy mall crawler Jeeps. At least that's what I joke with him about. But definitely keeps the high lift jack secure.
Yep. And then, once you put it on there, then we also have obviously the bolt lock head that snaps on, and also provides that security for you too, so that nobody's making off with your jack. So that's been a super popular product for us. We also do, especially for the Jeeps, we actually do a spare tire, actually a mount that's really a lug nut based on the quarter 20 mounting bolts, and so you put it on the back of you replace obviously one of the three lug nuts that hold the spare tire on the back, and replace one of those with our lug nut. Tighten it down. The lug nut will go in far enough to where you then can snap the head on, and basically prevents anybody from trying to get a wrench in there, spinning it off and making off with that spare tire. So a lot of targeted things. The Jeep guys, it's really been super popular from all those different areas. So those are we're coming up, offering a new product for the trailering guys out there. So we've covered everything really from the coupler, everything on vehicle. So when you have a trailer on the back of the vehicle, we have the receiver hitch, we got a coupler lock, the cables, we got all those things. A padlock can be used on the smaller trailers, right through the coupler. We also have a coupler pin specifically designed for like the big bass boats and all the different styles of couplers that are out there. But this year we've kind of offered a couple of off-vehicle products. So when the trailer is not hooked up to the vehicle, and so we've got a large off-vehicle coupler that's coming out. I have two different balls with it, so it'll be able to do the 1 7/8 and the 2 1/8. So it'll do all the different size balls. It has a large plate and a hoop, all in hardened steel, powder coated, really heavy duty with the bolt lock pin through the bottom. So very universal. We tried it on probably close to 25 different trailers, and we've got a number of adjustments and hoops in that different pin locations on the hoop that goes over the top of the coupler. So it secures, it prevents with the big plate on the bottom. It doesn't allow you to have access to the nut that's on there. That you can basically take any coupler off from underneath. So that plate covers that on the bottom, and the hoop basically locks the coupler from being able to be lifted. So should be a good product for a trailer when the trailer's just parked. Hopefully that deters anybody from going in there, and your trailer doesn't just magically disappear at night sometimes. So
yeah, that's something that I was actually thinking about this weekend. I was out camping and had my adventure trailer with the rooftop tent opened up, and we kind of use that as the base camp this weekend. Normally we'll just the vehicle connected, and we'll bounce from one campsite to the next. But this weekend we stayed in one location, and we drove off and left the trailer there. And I did not have an off-vehicle coupler lock to put on there at the time. So this would have been perfect for that.
Yep, this would have been perfect. So, should be coming out, should be available in about 4 to 6 weeks, I think. We're getting our first samples in. So it's going to be, it sounds very, very popular, especially with all the outdoors. And we did, we had some samples of it at the Bassmaster show a couple months ago, and we'll be at ICAST coming up here in July. The other fishing show. So it's been it's been really that's been a popular item, along with the coupler lock, and the receivers are all really critical for anybody, especially with the boats. There's a lot of storage areas on those, rod holders, crossbars for things, the in-floor storage and things like that. Sponsor a couple of the bass guys on tour. And they've been using it, and we have a number of guys that use the product out there. So it's something that really makes when you have that kind of equipment and you're on off-roading, and that stuff's not cheap, and you got nice coolers and the cans and any of the monster hooks or any of the other hooks that are that you're using for pulling and things like that. You really don't want those things disappearing. Right. And our 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch pins fit a lot of those different accessories, so you can lock them on, and rest assured that they're going to be.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you didn't mention was I see you got on the website over at boltlock.com, the toolbox latch retrofit kit. Like, that's something that caught my eye because I'm looking at a better way to secure the doors on the trailer that I have, and that might be the perfect solution.
And that fits. Yes, the retrofit kit it's really specifically designed for our toolboxes that are manufactured by DZ, United Welding Service, also a Husky, any of those types of boxes where the top is going to come down with a single striker throat, and that's how that latch opens. There's just a ton of different ways to do that, but that's the primary way that latch works. And the nice thing about that is that once you retrofit the box with that, you're actually able to move box from one truck to another. If you sell one and get a different one, you're able to actually change that cylinder out just in that particular product. So, but it's a great way to upfit some of the boxes. The locks that are in them are relatively inexpensive, I guess, to be nice. And, ours is obviously going to be an automotive grade lock. It's going to be able to work with your key. It'll last longer than the box will.
Yeah, a lot of those I've seen are just so flimsy that they are deterrent in appearance only. They're not going to stop anybody from.
Correct. Yep. So, and that's anything about security products. Really, basically just building up some level of time fence and making them jump over a little bit more. So
yeah, keep the honest folks honest.
Yep. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully they go on to the next guy who didn't bother to buy a lock for his thing. We do have a couple of videos, on our YouTube channel linked off of boltlock.com that shows the various types of some security that we offer versus some of the competition, especially with some of the pin locks that are out there. They're quite honestly designed very easily broken, the 5 to 8 second range. Ours we designed specifically with some extra material in the pin and sinking the head an extra 3/4 of an inch into the head, and it just makes it so much more difficult to break them off with the standard pipe test. So that's kind of how that it gets done. And guys want to steal those kinds of things, and so ours does a really good job, against any kind of attacks and theft stuff. So it's one of the things that we do to all our products during development is take it out and let our young co-ops that are out there take hammers and sledgehammers and anything they can to them and make sure these things stay in place.
Yeah.
So
one other thing I saw on the website here was the JK hood lock. It looks like it provides a little more than just some theft deterrents too.
Yep. So the JK, again, another bolt-specific product. It does secure. With the JKs, obviously you have the straps, right? Pretty much it. So to get something to lock, you need to upgrade it there. And what we do is we have our bolt lock security item there. The hood lock mounts to pre-drilled. Again, there's some pre-drilled holes in there. There is a Mopar product that's offered. It's quite expensive compared to ours. I think our retail is around $70, $75. I think Mopar offers one for about $200. But there are pre-drilled holes already. We offer our kit comes with the entire everything you need to do it. It comes with once you take the clips off and remove the grill. If you break one of those, we got extra clips in there. We also have the correct size rivets to go through. They're the extra big ones, so you need that like two-handed rivet gun if you've seen those. But that's the right size for those holes. And so again, another no drill installation designed specifically to fit the vehicle the way it is. So nice and easy, easy way to get that installed. And then we've got the bolt lock underneath there. It's got a nice cap goes right over the top of there, so that, again, it's black. It'll be black on black, and it's right in the center part of the center grill there, and shouldn't be very noticeable from the outside, but then does lock your hood down, so that you do have some security with intakes, on the aftermarket intakes, or even some of the big gel batteries and things like that are underneath there. Guys are looking for something easy to open and make off with kind of quickly. And those things, none of that stuff's cheap anymore. So yeah, it's another one of our Jeep specific items. Hopefully we're going to be developing one here for the JL when it comes out. We will be, we obviously are doing all the JL, the next gen Wrangler. So we're doing all the locks on that vehicle. So we already have bolt product in the pipeline, in the development pipeline. So we'll be covering the new Jeeps when they come out here later this year.
Excellent. Well, I'm sold. I'm definitely going to be picking up at least a couple of different bolt lock products, especially once I swap out the rear bumper and I keep a fuel and water can on more often than I already do.
Okay.
One of the reasons I don't keep those kinds of things on my vehicle is just for the security. And like we were talking before the call, it doesn't take very much to get away from civilization here in Alaska. So that's always a concern.
Yeah, and it probably disappeared at the wrong time.
Exactly.
Just about the time you need it. Yeah, and especially like even the spare tires with those cables and that. Once we're looking at that stuff now, and being in the industry, that catches my eye where most people wouldn't see it. But every time we're driving around, I always see something dangling down there. Just a cable without a wheel on there, and it's just like, man, I hope that guy sees that. So
yep, that would be sad.
Oh yeah, because now you're, what are you going to do? And it'll happen. It's not going to happen close to anywhere either, especially with you guys up there. It'll happen a ways away, right?
That's how Murphy's Law works. It's going to happen at the worst time, at the worst place.
Yep, I know. And so, yeah, the security products, the whole thing about losing your keys and, not wanting to keep the janitor key ring hanging around your belt loop or in your pocket is really a big draw. And we get great feedback from users all the time that, it's just totally simplified thing. And we get a lot of questions about, can they be reset? They're really a single set item, so they really become an accessory to the vehicle, because they're really matched right to that key. So you would really basically move them along if you switch out trucks or cars or Jeeps. You'd basically move them along to the next owner. And what we do is we do offer a rebate program. If you get on boltlock.com and register with us, and if you go ahead and buy a new set of bolt locks for your next vehicle, we will send you we'll send you $10 off each lock you buy. So we're encouraging you to get the bolt locks and outfit the entire truck, and doing it on all the vehicles going forward. So
that's awesome. So I know I'm a huge fan of Amazon because we've got an affiliate relationship with them, and I see that you actually have these products available on Amazon. So I could be ordering one tonight.
Awesome. Yep, that'd be great. So yeah, we're on there. Also, if any of the listeners are pay attention to some of the Prime events and things that go on there, we do participate in a number of those. So you keep your eyes open. You will see us pop up every once in a while with a special through them also. And for anybody listening in the lower 48. Especially out in the California West Coast side, we've got a number of retail outlets you can find on boltlock.com. You can go on and just type in your zip code. Find a retail finder if you want to get to a brick and mortar and kind of feel them, and take a look at them and make sure that there's something that you want to take a look at them before you buy. There's a number of different retailers that offer them, so it's a good way to get a look at them.
Yep, I see they got them at Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, 4-Wheel Parts. I've never been to a Summit Racing brick and mortar store, but I've definitely ordered a bunch of stuff from there too.
Oh, Summit, yeah, yep, yeah. Summit's the racing guys. It's I don't know how many guys we talked to at SEMA that have shown up at the racetrack, and have not had the key to the padlocks to get the cars out of there. So they've shown up to the track.
Can't get the
cars
car
locked
off the trailer.
inside. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So there's it happens, man. It happens. I think it's happened almost all of them. It's so that the padlocks are a really big hit with them. They usually have 2 on the back and at least 1 side door. So they sometimes these guys are running 3 different keys. And I lost this one, and then I don't know where this one is. And it's like just throw those babies away, get some bolt locks on there, and you're done.
Yeah, and I know every time I hear an off-road race, somebody's critical tools are disappearing because they didn't have them locked up. That's a sad thing too. Yeah,
it's just kind of the state of the world these days. So a little bit of deterrence, and we're trying to make it's really convenient security. That's really our message. We're really, if it's too much of a hassle for you to use, you're not even going to use it. So trying to making everything work with 1 key and just having it available so you don't even have to worry about carrying anything extra is a great message, and it really is the value proposition for these things. So plus you're going to get an automotive grade cylinder here, so it's and these things are they're very very durable, will last you a very long time. So we've got great reviews, long-term usage on these things. Padlocks have been out for like 6 years, and we got lots of great feedback on them. Guys keep coming back all the time and like, hey, I found this guy. I got it now. I'm using it on this now. I'm using it on that now. So it definitely is. It's growing every day. So it's great.
That's awesome. Well, Steve, I really want to say thank you for coming on the podcast here tonight and making time out of your schedule to inform the 4x4 podcast audience on the bolt lock products. I didn't even know that it was an acronym, the Breakthrough One Lock Tech.
Yep.
Easy to remember now exactly what it is and what it does.
Awesome. Well, Dan, I really appreciate it. So stay warm up there in Alaska, and enjoy your bolt locks.
Sounds great. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye, Dan.
All right. So on episode 125, just head over to the show notes there. That's the 4x4podcast.com/125. That'll take you to the show notes for this episode where you can read all the instructions here. But that way you don't have to take notes. But the intent of this giveaway is to kind of help spread the word of the 4x4 podcast and build some awareness for bolt locks, because not everybody's maybe aware of what bolt lock offers. So here's what is required to win either your choice of a bolt cable lock or a bolt padlock. So what you need to do is head over and like us on Facebook if you have not already. That's facebook.com/the4x4 podcast. And also like the Bolt Lock page at facebook.com/Bolt Lock. And this is the hard part, which is not really hard anyways. We want you to post on your personal Facebook page why you need the 4x4 podcast to hook you up with a bolt lock product. So you need to post something and use the phrase, I need the 4x4 podcast to hook me up with a bolt lock for and you fill in your vehicle there because, and then get creative. We want to know what you're going to be using this bolt cable lock or padlock on and what you're going to be using it for. And with all good stories in the military tradition, they only have to be 10% true. So we may have mentioned that on some of the other ones, so that way we can spur some creativity. Not sure how long we're going to run this contest because I'm going to be on the road and traveling for a couple months, so we'll leave it open for a while. I'll maybe put into a future episode when we're going to close it, but that means it could close any time. So get your posts in there, and when you post, be sure to use the hashtag 4x4 podcast, and that's hashtag the # 4x4 podcast, and so that way we can go into our page and do a search for that hashtag, and all the posts that use that hashtag will come up. Make sure you tag us and Bolt Locks in your post, so both of the pages can see that you've done everything required to win. So when we do that drawing, it'll be just a random drawing. I'm not going to go and just pick whoever I want. It'll be a random thing, and then somebody's going to be going home with some cool, the Bolt Lock cable lock or the Bolt Lock padlock. All right, and that is it for this fairly short episode of the 4x4 podcast. Again, just thanks for coming back time after time to listen to this podcast and telling your friends about the show. That is absolutely the best way for people to find out about the show. Now, I know a lot of people find it just by doing a search for anything off-roading related in the iTunes store, or we are actually now in the Google Play Store, but also, wherever you find podcasts. So be sure to tell your friends. And if your friends don't know what a podcast is, and especially if they have an iPhone, just say, hey, let me see your phone for a minute. Go to the podcast app, do a search for the 4x4 podcast within that app, and just show them how to subscribe right there. And then they'll be able to get on all this good off-roading content. If you want to send any feedback on this episode, you can leave a comment over on the show notes for this episode at the4x4podcast.com/125. And you can also send us an email at the4x4podcast@yahoo.com. Shoot us a message on Twitter or Instagram. We're at the 4x4 podcast. And we also have our voicemail number. That's 719-924-5337. And we have the Speak Pipe tool where you can send us that high-quality voicemail there. Even if you just record a voice memo on your phone, you can email that to us too. Love hearing other people's voices on the show. Anyways, that is it for now. It is now time to hit the trails. So God bless, tread lightly, and stay safe while exploring your world.